Good morning. It's a blessing to be among men and brethren and sisters this morning. I just honor the Lord today, which is my life. To all of the pastors here and to all of the officials, to our fearless leader, to Mr. Omar Edwards, let's just give him a big round of applause. And to all of the B2B board members and all the work that you have done behind the scene, we appreciate you. Let's give them another big round of applause. And we're grateful to be here this morning. I stand before you, and I am so excited about B2B and what it stands for and how we're reaching out to men and boys in our community, changing the face of our community one man at a time, one boy at a time. And so I welcome you this morning. We ask that you sit back and enjoy what the Lord has in store for you. So welcome.
He travels a little lighter than I do. Let us pray. Good morning, our Father God. Good morning, our Redeemer. Good morning, our Sustainer. We give thanks for our brother-to-brother alliance here today. Father, I pray that this breakfast prayer to give you thanks for good food, nourishment of our body. Please, Father, we ask you for these young people who are here in our circle for their long life and their well-being. Lord, our thoughts and prayers come to you throughout our national body. Lord, this hour and this moment, let us lament the shooter's choice for violence. Let us lament laws that allow violent men easy access to guns. Let us lament our political unwillingness to work for change. Father, let us lament with the hearts broken by so much tragedy today. Let us lament all of the lives cut short. Let us lament, O God, and then let us rise from our knees to work for change in the name of Christ, the Prince of Peace. Amen.
As you see with your program, we are at the point in the program where it talks about the occasion and how we got here. On August 17, 2017, God woke me up at 3 a.m. in the morning. He laid in my heart to unite men from all walks of life. Shortly thereafter, I was invited to a men's breakfast in Tampa. Well, those men that took that first journey with me, and they know who they are, if you'll stand at this time and be recognized. Let's give them a round of applause. Because I don't know if they knew what they were getting into from that initial invite and what it would launch and start in Manatee County. I was able to experience at that conference my vision as a reality at the breakfast. In my mind, that was confirmation. Like I said, Willie Kendricks, Lieutenant John Morrell, Johnny Jones, Dexter McDonald, Willie Kendricks, they all traveled with me to Tampa, Florida, to uncharted waters. We were truly impressed with what we saw. I know that we have men in Manatee County who care, who have the capacity to make the vision a reality. But just like when you're in a boat, everybody's not with you. Some people would take the journey and some people would not take the journey. But I venture to state that the ones here today made that commitment to do that. In less than 12 months, the vision was in sight. There's work for us to do before it can be realized. This event is a start. However, the Brother-to-Brother Alliance intends to create a movement. We're not going to just do it one time or 2 times or 3 times. We're going to continue to do it until we have to move this to the Civic Center. Give yourselves a round of applause for that. We were at a men's conference the last 2 days, and it talked about teach one, reach one. My commitment to you this time next year, find one person to bring with you to the breakfast, because that will cultivate reaching one and teaching one. Take a look at our mission and vision as we print it on banners and things of that nature. This is the occasion. Never doubt what a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens who can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. That was by Margaret Mead. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your occasion.
I am grateful for the things that you have done. Yes, I'm grateful for the victories we've won. I could go on and on and on and on about your words, because I'm grateful, grateful, so grateful just to praise you, Lord. Flowing from my heart are the issues of my heart. It's gratefulness. Yeah. I am grateful for the things that you have done. Yes, I'm grateful for the victories we've won. I could go on and on and on and on about your words, and flowing from my heart, oh yeah, are the issues of my heart. Is gratefulness. Oh, oh. Grateful, 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 grateful. Anybody grateful? Grateful, 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 gratefulness is flowing from my heart. Grateful, 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 gratefulness is flowing from my heart. Amen. Bless your name, Lord. Thank you, Lord Jesus.
I love you, Lord, and I lift my voice to worship you, oh my soul, rejoice. Take joy, my King, in what you hear, and let it be a sweet, sweet sound in your ear.
I love you, Lord, and I lift my voice to worship you, oh my soul, rejoice. Take joy, my King, in what you hear, and let it be a sweet, sweet sound in your ear. I love you, Lord, oh yeah, and I lift my voice to worship you, oh my soul, rejoice. Take joy, my King, in what you hear, and let it be a sweet, sweet sound in your ear.
That's why it's so important to have great people. Let's give them another round of applause. When we talk about commitment, they had a death in their family. They're going to funeralize someone here today. But they are here and committed to the cause, not only for today, but they did that work at the men's conference the last 2 days. Let's give them a round of applause. God bless them and God keep them. They are committed to the cause. So we come to the time in the program where we're going to have a full buffet breakfast. And of course, coming out of a pandemic, if we're going to claim it, we're going to practice social distancing. So you understand that we're going to not all get up at the same time. So we're going to have a little order. But I want to first talk a little bit about our theme, accountability and responsibility. Normally with events, you have themes that emerge throughout the years. If you notice, for the last 4 years, our theme has not changed. Accountability and responsibility. We're going to hold, including myself, every male in Manatee County accountable and responsible. Give yourselves a round of applause for that. And I want to set the record straight today. This is not exclusive for males. We want females because we can't do it without the females in our life. And let's give them a round of applause. And I tell you, it took me 48 years to figure that out, but I did figure it out and give myself a round of applause for that one. And I would like to ask my queen to stand at this time and be recognized, Ladina Edwards, AKA my boo. I'm gonna pay for that one. Okay, and sticking with our theme, accountability and responsibility, I believe that we can do two things at once, so we're gonna keep the program moving. At this time, I would like to recognize the officers and board members of Brother to Brother Alliance, LLC. Of course, our vice president is Ellen Sparks, if she'll stand at this time. Our treasurer is Mr. Greg Washington. He's on the door. If he'll stand at this time and be recognized. We have some board members present. Willie Kendricks, if you'll stand at this time and be recognized. Our other board member is Stephen Ward. He's not able to be with us this morning. And then our secretary is not able to be here as well, Siobhan Reeves. Give her a round of applause and give Stephen a round of applause. And of course, the president, which if they'll have me in a few months, because we have elections coming, I am the president of Brother to Brother Alliance Incorporated. So we have elections coming, so you never know. At this time, I would ask Kiara Cromartie Tate to come forward and introduce our first speaker, who she knows very well. Give her a round of applause.
Good morning.
Morning.
I stand before you a proud daughter of the Mr. Stanley Cromartie. So I got the phone call about, I'm gonna say almost a month ago, saying, I forgot. Yeah, Willie Kendricks called me and he was saying, he asked me, he said, would you do the honors of introducing your father? And I said, it would be my pleasure. I didn't know that his biography was almost 10 pages long. But I promise you I will try to keep it short. So, a native of Bradenton, Florida, Stanley B. Cromartie is currently the athletic director at Polk State College. Cromartie previously served at his alma mater Ed Waters College as the assistant athletic director and athletic director. Cromartie has been instrumental in re-energizing student athletes, staff, administrators, and the entire student body in showing their Eagle pride. During his tenure at Edward Waters College, he implemented several projects. The Now Alumni Weekend, held during the spring semester, has become a signature fundraiser event during the school year. Cromartie's business acumen also resulted in two of the biggest payouts in school history, following contests with Alcorn State in 2013 and Tennessee State in 2014. His goal remains to make Edward Waters College athletic director the finest in the country. Cromartie began his legendary athletic playing career at Southeast High School in the years of 1978 through 1982, lettering in basketball and baseball. As a senior basketball player, Cromartie led the county and team in scoring, averaging 17.9 points per game. He was selected first team All-County and finished second as the Player of the Year. Cromartie also was nominated for McDonald's High School All-American basketball team. On the diamond, Cromartie played multiple positions as a pitcher, a catcher, and outfielder. He was selected to first team All-County, and he finished second in the county with a .38 batting average. Cromartie signed a letter of intent to play basketball for Manatee Junior College, which is now the State College of Florida, in 1982, under head coach Harry Kennan. During his freshman campaign at MJC, Cromartie averaged 12 points and 4 assists per game while helping the Lancers post a then school record for wins 29 in a single season. As a sophomore in 1984, he was named to the All-Suncoast Conference team after averaging 17 points and 4 assists per game. In 2015, Cromartie was inducted to the State College of Florida Hall of Fame. He was also inducted to the Florida College System Activities Association's Hall of Fame in 2018. Following his junior career, Cromartie then transferred to Weber International University in 1984 on a full men's basketball scholarship. During the 1984 season, the Warriors finished 32-4, finishing with a top 10 ranking amongst the NAIA best. During the 1985 through 86 season, Cromartie helped lead the Warriors to a 29-1 overall record en route the District 25 championship in a berth in the NAIA Men's Basketball National Tournament as the number 2 ranked team in the country. Also during that season, Cromartie led the team in assists with 119, a then school record for assists in a season. A 1990 graduate at Edward Waters College with a Bachelor's of Arts in Business Administration, Cromartie became the youngest head coach in EWC history, taking the helm of the men's basketball team at the age of 25. Cromartie continued his basketball coaching career as a top assistant at Bethune-Cookman University and South Carolina State University. He also held coaching positions at Valencia Community College in Orlando, Florida, and Seminole Community College in Sanford, Florida. Throughout his career, he has taken on increasingly leadership roles in coaching, managing athletic programs, planning numerous tournaments and recruitment activities. A strong believer in the student athletic model, Cromartie encouraged all athletes to exhibit solid academic progress and behavior in out of uniform. Cromartie returned to the coaching ranks in 2014, where he took over as the head coach of the EWC women's softball program. He led the Lady Tigers to unprecedented success during the 2015 season, which EWC finished with a 34-13-1 record which is a program record for wins in a single season, and clinched the Gulf Coast Athletics Conference regular season and tournament championship. The Lady Tigers also finished with a 29-3 record versus HBCU competition. For their success, EWC was nominated in the category of Women's Team of the Year during the 2015 HBCU Awards. Cromartie is a proud member of, I would like to say, the best fraternity here on this side of heaven, which is the Gamma Phi chapter of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. He is also the loving husband of Miss Doretta Clemens Cromartie, the proud father of two, myself, Kiara Cromartie Tate, and the proud father of NFL Pro Bowl defense back for the New York Giants, Dominique Rogers Cromartie. He also completed his Master's of Arts degree in coaching in athletics administration at Concordia University in California in 2016. So I would like to produce to you none other than Mr. Stanley Cromartie.
Good morning. Sometimes you kind of forget things that you've done in your journey, but and it was a surprise to have my lovely daughter to introduce me. Anytime you can have your children, be a part of your journey, is great. And I thank her for that. It was long, but I thank her for that, and I love you. To Mr. Edwards, Omar, I got a phone call maybe 5-6 months ago asking me would I be a part of this Brothers to Brother breakfast as a speaker. And the answer was no, what time I need to be there. Anytime that you can come back home and be a part of the community that meant so much to you and had a great part of making who I am. I just remember coming back in the 2000s, and I was looking for a job after leaving South Carolina State University, and I was caught between careers. And I went to the school board of Manatee County, and Mrs. Edwards and Harry Canan made a way for me to come back home to work at Lakewood Ranch. So, as I look amongst the audience, I think, and I've always, thanked the people who have laid the way for me. And Ms. Edwards, once again, thank you. I've always appreciated you and all the things that you've done. And as I look, before I get into my speech, I'd like to thank some people that are here. When I was at Bethune-Cookman University, I had the pleasure of being the top assistant. And Coach Tony Shields said, I need you to go out there and get me some talent. And he wanted me to come back home. So I came home. First place was home, Manatee Junior College, and he wanted me to take a look at another kid. A kid was from Sarasota. And I came back and said, no, that ain't who you want. You want the kid named Reggie Bellamy. He said, huh? I say, he's undersized, but ain't nobody gonna outwork him. And he said, yes. I said, I'm positive. Long story short, we signed Reggie to a scholarship at Bethune-Cookman University. Reggie came and for 2 years started every single game. And I appreciate him. He always supported me, and I think Commissioner Bellamy. Sometimes I get the Coach Commissioner Bellamy. Thank you for being here. I see Brother Wooten out there. I got storage. They say I got 45 minutes, so I see, God dang, that's a long time. But I see my brother Wooten out there. We used to be at the Braden Park, and East Braden Park, and Wooten and I used to go at it. Wooten had that old 8-foot bank shot. Oh boy, it was money too. I said that Wooten was something else. But I just see guys that I'm here. The Morels, John, and what's Morel, thank you guys. I mean, and Robert Bound, who I went with the Boys and Girls Club, and my good mentor, Mr. Reginald Lee, here this morning. So I just thank all you guys for being here and supporting me on this event. I tell you that, you know, Brother Edwards I said, now what is the theme? He say, accountability and responsibility. I'm a former college basketball coach, and I knew that when it came down to film, watching film, people attention span ain't long. So I don't know if I'm gonna be up here 45 minutes, 'cause I don't want you to be lost in the attention span. I want you to get what I got, and then I'm gonna sit on down. But as I think about accountability and responsibility in this universal global world that we live in, we understand and know that life has death. And in between the Alpha, the beginning, and your Omega, it's called the life of Dash. And in that dash, you will be judged and held accountable for your responsibility and accountability to seek God's kingdom. So I'm going to talk about the responsibility, accountability, and responsibility of being a man. First of all, the definition of accountability, the fight or condition of being accountable. The definition for responsibility, the state or fight of having duty to deal with something or having control over someone. I want to talk about 4 areas in a man. Must be a provider, protector, leader, and teacher of your families and your communities. They say that as a man, the man is the head of the household. They say a man that don't work, don't eat. We are men are held responsible to provide, protect, lead, and teach our families and our communities. Men are regarded as defender of their community. It is up to them to ensure their homes and communities are safe from internal and external threats. Men are obligated to do the right thing. First of all, provider. You are responsible and you must be held accountable as men to be a provider of your family. Most men believe that being a good provider means supporting a family financially. It means much more than that. A man should contribute to the emotional, spiritual, physical, mental, and well-being of his family. In order to do this, he must recognize that there are other components in addition to money that need to be provided. I give examples. I was very blessed to have a mother and a father. And my father was not, highly educated, but he was a father that walked softly but carried a big stick. I watched my father provide for the family, not one job, not 2 jobs, but 3 jobs at a time. And I wondered why my father was let go at Chrysler Corporation. And then he took on a job where he was a distributor of goods, a produce. We had a produce where he would wake up 3:30 in the morning, drive to Tampa, get a load, come back to Bradenton, go to Anna Maria Island, drive to Longboat Key, hit Siesta, hit Venice, come back home. And that was constantly, 6 days a week. And I was wondering why my father would do that. He was providing for his family. I rode on those trips with him. I worked with him at an age of 10 years old. He was also teaching me how to be a man. And so I say that my father was always there, but he was always being a provider. And as men, we must take on the responsibility and we must be held accountable for our families and our communities. I tell you that, and emotionally, we have to be the emotional calm person of the family. We have to take everything on our shoulders in making sure that our families are good and safe. Protector. This don't mean that you have to hit the man like Will Smith did to ensure because someone insulted your wife. It means protecting her self-esteem, her self-worth, as well as your children. It can also mean protecting your way of life and guarding against any threats to things that you and your family. I've been married for 17 years, but me and my wife been together for 32 years. And I tell you that she could have left me a long time ago, but some kind of way God prevailed her to stick with me. I tell you that we as men must be responsible and held accountable for our wives' self-esteem and self-worth. See, as I got older as a man, I understood a lot more but what life really has to offer me. I now know that what I need to do. I'm here to serve and to protect. See, men, we sometimes get caught in our own ways and don't understand that self-esteem is huge for a woman and your wife. They're emotional. I found out that, just saying, baby, you look so pretty, and saying it quite often, and saying that, oh, girl, I mean, you the best thing that ever come to me. Every now and then, I will shoot her a text from work and say, I'm just thinking of you. I can't wait to see you when I get home. That goes a long way from y'all hear me, man. Y'all hear me because, you might be the man, but baby, she runs the ship. And that puts a joy on her face. I was, my wife was a drug and alcohol counselor, and for 7 years, every day she's hearing problems for other people, and it burned her out. I mean, she was literally wore out. I said, baby, quit. She said, baby, quit. Your mind, because you was, when I come home, I can't even drink a beer. Oh, God dang, girl, I mean, I'm not your client. But it was time for her to quit. But as the man, being the head of the household and the provider, I said, baby, you got to quit that job. And you got to be a provider and protector for your family and your children. My daughter, I remember, see, she didn't know she was part of this speech. I remember she went off to college. And she went to Tennessee State University following her brother's footsteps. And she got pregnant in the first semester up there.
Actually, it was the second.
It was the second semester? Okay. But it was a semester. You get up there, you got pregnant. And they tried to keep it away from me for the longest. Oh, they kept that thing away from me from long ago. They didn't want to hear my mouth. But I think that through maturity, I said, girl, you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. I said, what you going to do, you ain't finna quit no school. I said, we're gonna figure this thing out. And she came back home and she enrolled in State College of Florida. And she finished school at State College of Florida, A degree. Then she came up to Orlando, where I was, and enrolled in University of Central Florida. Well, ain't got no babysitter. Don't worry about no babysitter. We got you. We found a babysitter for her, and we worked as a team with her. And she did that thing, and she graduated. See, it's my job. And it's our job as men to protect. I tell you, being in the academic world and in the college sector, I've seen from time to time people drop their children off in August and don't see them again in December. In between August and December, there's a whole lot of stuff that happened to your child. I tell everybody, you better go check on your children. You better, when you drop them off, you better check on them and make sure that they're doing the right thing, because things happen. And I'm so proud of her that she didn't give up, and she graduated with having a child. And so we as men, we got to be protectors and take on that responsibility and be held accountable for being protectors. Also, my son, you know, he NFL football player. You know, so now, you know, when I used to come back home to Braden, I used to be Crow. There go Crow, mommy. There go Crow right there. Now I'm just, oh, that's Dominique Daddy. So I get it. You got to protect them. I remember, and I tell this story because I'm a storyteller. I tell this story that how he went off to the NFL, and I was still in the locker room like he was a child. But I try to protect him from all evil, because you know, yo guys, if you never had a son or a daughter or whatever that gets into the pros, people come at you from all angles. And he learned that magic word, go ask my daddy. And boy, when they came to ask me, it was always a different type of story. I need to understand why you need this. Because everybody got a great idea with your money. With your money. So I say that let's be protectors, providers, protectors, and leaders. Instead of waiting for your wife to take the initiative when you are having problems, take the lead, get in the game, and create what you and your family, instead of whining about your family situation. Marriage is not a 50-50 partnership. It's a 100-100 partnership. That means everyone needs to 100% in order to thrive. I had this biggest problem in my marriage. I didn't want to talk. I just didn't want to talk. And she said, no, you got to talk. We got to talk about this here. And I looked at it where men, we want to be leaders, but we got to lead in our household. We got to come home and sometime forget about you and your day and walk in that door and say, well, baby, how's your day? What can I do to leave work at home? And see, I bring mine home all the time, and it wears on her. And I had to learn that if I'm gonna be the leader, I got to take me out of this. I got to lead by example, and that's what I try to do. So I say that, you know, we got to lead. We got to lead in our communities. We got to do things like brother to brother. I mean, this is so needed in this community at this time. And I see that it's going to get bigger and better, and you'll just keep on doing it. And that's what you got. You got to learn how to want to lead all the time. Then we got to be teachers. You know, what are you teaching those around you, especially your children, with your behavior? It's important to provide a good example for your children and loved ones and community with both words and deeds. Set high standards and teaching by doing. I've been an athletic director, now I'm in administration now, and I am responsible and I will be held accountable for that entire athletic department if something goes wrong. I say that this morning I got an email from one of my coaches, and he's complaining that I treat him unfairly. Well, no, I ain't treating you unfairly. I'm just holding you accountable. You are responsible for the volleyball program at Polk State College. And you missed my meeting on Wednesday. So he missed my meeting on Wednesday, so I politely sent him a nice old email saying I wasn't pleased about that, and this will go into your files. Now he wants to rebut it, but I'm good with it. Because my boss man already called me and said, did you see what he sent to me? Because he knows that I am just making everybody accountable and responsible for their department. Because ultimately, the area, I am responsible for the athletic department. We gotta teach, and that's a teachable moment for all of us. And I say that it's good. You got to do good deeds. For 27 years, this will be year 27 that the Stanley Cromartie, now Dominique Rogers Cromartie basketball camp has been held in Manatee County. Thank you. I played college basketball, and when I was in high school, I was very fortunate to go to University of Florida camp and to go to Pennsylvania to the Poconos. But it was expensive, and my parents them made a way for me to go. So when I became a college basketball coach, I said, I'm gonna come back and pour seeds into Manatee County and have a basketball camp at no charge. And it has been successful. It has been up and running. I had a flash right now. Morale has been very instrumental. I mean, every time I went to the Boys and Girls Club, they opened the doors for me to run that basketball camp. And now it's 27 years. And I don't do it to brag, I'm doing it because it's needed. I mean, we got kids out here that they can't afford to go to University of Florida camp for a week that's gonna cost their parents $1,500. That's a lot of money. So we as men have to be teachers and leaders of our community and be held accountable. I tell you, we all have fallen short of God's glory. And if you think you haven't, I say that you're delusional. But he has never left us or forsake us. And I thank God for all that he's done for me. But we must truly understand and come to grips that our life is centered around our dash. And our dash is our accountability and responsibility of what we're going to do. Because at the Omega service, you will be judged to seek God's kingdom on your dash and your accountability. I thank you for allowing me to take this time out to be a part of your morning. I hope that you got something out of it. May God bless you. I love you. God bless. Thank you.
Hang tight to the podium for just a second. On behalf of the Brother to Brother Alliance Organization, LLC, we present a small token in our appreciation for you coming and sharing those kind words with us.
Oh, man, I didn't expect this.
He say he didn't expect it, but we know to much is given, much is required. At this time, we have a little tribute that we normally do with our seasoned veterans. And we usually, and one of our good brothers here reminded me of that, when we were able to partake in our buffet style. And we would always recognize, in order of service, we would do our older veterans first. So we don't want to make sure we miss that golden opportunity. So if you are 90 years of above, please stand and be recognized at this time. Anyone 90 and above? All right, let's take it a little lower. 80 and above. If you're 80 and above, please stand and be recognized. Oh, we're going to get to you. We're going to get close. Here we come now. Don't wiggle in your seat. We're going to get to you. 70 and above, please stand and be recognized. Oh, we can do better than that. Let's give them a round of applause. What about 60 and above? Let's give them a round of applause. Oh, we're getting close to my category. We're not quite there yet. I'm going to enjoy that moment. 50 and above, please stand to be recognized. All right. And then what about that elite group who's 40 and above? Please stand and be recognized. And I think we've covered all our bases. If you are 0 and above, please stand and be recognized. All right, we always want to do that special tribute. Normally when we're taking the buffet, we enjoy seeing them march up on their way to eat first, of course, because they've really had to wait their turn. So at this time, we're going to have a brief restroom break that's located in your program, and then that's going to be followed by the Fatherhood Pledge. I would also say, if you hadn't had an opportunity, make sure you visit Manatee Technical College. We have a booth here tonight, or today, and if you haven't really recognized the need for people in technical education is very much needed. We had a job fair at Manatee Technical College just a few days ago, and we had 109 employers present. We had 88 employees register for the event. In the rain, we had 200 show up. So I think we're beyond the pandemic. People are ready to go back to work. Let's give them a round of applause. Business and industry would always ask, where's the qualified workforce? They are here. And it's our job to go out and find them so that we can put them to work. But it can't just be a job. It can't be McDonald's, Burger King. We need careers with benefits. We need bonuses and things of that nature, because the last that I looked, a 900 square foot bedroom in Manatee County is over $1,300 a month. You can't take a job and pay those bills. So when you run into people, young and old, we need to tell them about technical education, how you can allow the technical degree to pay for the 2-year degree, and the technical and the 2-year degree to pay for 4-year degrees. Everybody's not going to be fortunate like Stanley Cromartie or myself to get a full athletic scholarship. We need to learn a lot from athletics. Last year, $33 billion was awarded in athletic scholarships. But we have young people that's saying, I only play one sport. If lacrosse would pay for my education, get lacrosse stick, I'm going to lacrosse. However, I gotta fund my education, then that's what we're gonna do. But it's gonna take you leading that charge to find people to go into those areas, because guess what? When you don't navigate people to technical areas, guess how much it's gonna cost a plumber to come to your house, in your house? A few months ago, I had an electrician come to my house. to hang up TVs. It was $530 for 3 hours. They are $150 per hour. We're not looking down on technical education. We need to look up on technical education. For that, give yourselves a round of applause. We have speakers, so I'm not here to be the speaker, but when God lay it on me, I have to give it to you. This is your restroom break at this time. Thank you. At this time, I ask retired Lieutenant John Morrell to come forward for the Fatherhood Pledge. Thank you. Let's give him a round of applause.
Good morning. I don't know why you had to throw that retired in there. Everybody know I work more than I probably when I was working. Well, we appreciate you for coming out. And I'm gonna say this very shortly, and then I got some brothers that's gonna help me do this pledge. Before COVID, we was actually, B2B was really on the move. We was actually doing what our vision was, is to fill these rooms and to empower the men and the young men to do more. And then COVID came along and we had to take a back step and do what was safety. We went to Zoom. Last year we came to this building and we was on the other side in the computer room, and we was on the computer doing our Zoom annual Brothers to Brother breakfast. So after the breakfast, after the meeting, we had a nice speaker. Mr. Edwards, like he always want to get my opinion. He said, how do you think it went? I said, it went great. Nice speaker, nice words. I say, but Mr. Edwards, I said, I still didn't get no eggs and no bacon. The program said breakfast. I say, we ain't had nothing to eat. So this morning was a great pleasure to come back face to face and to be able to return to Brothers to Brother annual breakfast. At this time, I had 8 brothers that's gonna come up and assist me with our pledge. There we go, 4 and 4. We want y'all to bring it in. All right. Everybody, please. Thank you. Our pledge. As a father and as a man of responsibility, I recognize that my example of a man will have an incredible impact on lives of my children and other children in the community. Therefore, today I pledge that I will fulfill this role in a manner that uniquely benefits all children by committing to the following principles.
Okay. Sure would like to do number 2, though. I pledge to be a man that teaches children through my actions the value of being true to your word.
I pledge to be a man that provides for my children and family physically, financially, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually to the best of my ability.
I pledge to be a man who teaches children that manhood is not about violence or taking advantage of others, but of being caring and responsible.
I pledge to be a man that contributes to making community one of peace and one that does not tolerate violence to taking advantage of others, but of being caring and responsible.
I pledge to be a man who does not justify the use of emotional, sexual, physical, mental, or economical abuse against a partner or others in his family or community.
I pledge to be a man that is an example of speaking up against injustice and oppression, even when it's more comfortable to say nothing.
I pledge to be a man that lives these values honestly and with love so that all children understand they are valued and seen as a blessing to their father, family, and community.
I pledge to be a man that pledges to love my children, my family unconditionally, and to always be there for them.
By living these pledges, I will work each day to fulfill the actions of these principles and will seek to build and maintain myself as a man who understands the art of being a father and a responsible male, brothers to brothers. Thank you.
At this time, we're going to move on to our next speaker. I have the introduction of the second speaker by Keenan Wooten. If Keenan would come forward at this time. Mr. Wooten.
All right, good morning, good morning. When they came to me to introduce our next speaker, I was thrilled and honored. Born and raised in Midtown, South St. Pete, the most impoverished area in Pinellas County, Wingate Newton was one of 8 siblings, being raised by a single divorced mother. Wingate learned early on the value of hard work and perseverance. His mother worked as a domestic sewing, cooking, cleaning, and rearing an affluent people's children in Snell Island and Shore Acres until her death in 1985. After graduating from Northeast High School in 1981, Wingate attended ITT Technical Institute, where he received the Associate of Arts degree in Electronics Engineering in 1983. He also attended Hillsborough Community College and St. Petersburg College. In 1983, he started an 18-year career with Xerox Corporation as a senior printing systems engineer. There, Wingate, he met and married his soulmate, Melissa Newton. They have 4 children and 7 grandchildren. This year, they will celebrate 31 years of marital bliss. Wingate was elected to St. Petersburg City Council in 2007 and re-elected in a second term in 2011. After 8 years of governance, he was term limited on January 2nd, 2016. And then he was elected to the Florida House of Representatives, November 2016, re-elected August 2018 to a second term. So that's 12 consecutive years of governance. And currently, Wingate is a candidate for State House District 62. Even though myself and Representative Newton, we sit on both sides of the political spectrum, Representative Newton is a mentor, a friend, a neighborhood general. I find myself calling my big homie just to hear him talk. And I mean, he can talk. I call him just to hear him speak. I mean, I just let him talk. But the reason why I just let him talk, because as someone coming up in the community, I listen and I learn and I take notes, and it teaches me how I should act, where I should move. This is what you need to be doing. I I saw when the governor allocated $70 million to fatherless homes and fatherless situations and fathers in our community. The first person I called was Representative Newton. How can we get some of that money? Because brother to brother, we tackle all these type of issues. And he had an answer for me too. Just wait till I get elected. So it brings me great pleasure to introduce to you all Representative Wingate Newton.
Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, my strength, O Lord, my Redeemer. Good afternoon. Good morning. It's not afternoon yet. Good morning, brothers and brothers. Good morning. I was looking at the agenda here, and he said it's 45 minutes in length, and I don't know how you're going to give a politician a mic and talk for 45 minutes. So I'm going to take Mr. Cromartie's 15 minutes he left, add it to the 45, make it an hour. And since I'm sitting with Pastor Livingston, I ain't gonna keep you long. I'm fitting to wrap up. But I wanna thank brothers and brothers for reaching out to me. Miss Ellen, she's back there, stalked me night and day. She made sure I was here. And your president, he kept calling me, I want to make sure you got the email. She sent the email, you get the email, send the email back, you get the email. And it didn't take that much. And whenever you're talking about men getting together and dealing with the issues that are present in these communities, in our youth, I'm all in. You heard a little bit about my upbringing, but you know, I was born and raised in that condition. And I don't know if you remember that, where we played one block over and one block up. See, we didn't have beepers, we had sky pages. You know, you'd be always in the earling of hearing your mama screaming your name. And if you didn't come, you had to go and not only get a whooping, you had to go pick out the switch. And that part I ain't figured out yet. I don't know how back then I'm gonna be accessory after the fact to my own whooping. And you couldn't bring one back that was too small because then she going to get the tree. So you're crying while you're walking and you're crying while you're coming back. But I present to you this morning, single divorced female raising 8 kids off government subsidies. Food stamps, welfare, government cheese, free lunch, reduced lunch, summer jobs, after school jobs, you're looking at it. But everything I'm not made me everything that I am. And I took full advantage of those opportunities because they were a hand up, not a handout. And today, a lot of those things I just talked about don't exist anymore. So these young people are trapped. I want to play something for you, always preface, I hope it works. Always preface, and I want people to hear it so they won't think it's just Newton or a politician giving you some numbers. Just to show you the state of where we're at. Last night, my wife and I attended the State of Black Tampa over in Hillsborough County, actually in Tampa and Ybor City. And they had a great panel of blacks talking about financial literacy, housing, health, and all the conditions that are going throughout. They had like 5 different panels. Went all night, but it was very informative. But it was showing you the value of black people. Now the reason I'm saying black, because you can't say African American, because you got black Haitians, you got black Cubans, and calling them Africans is insulting them. They're not from Africa. So I'll talk about black. I'm black, probably gonna die black, so you're gonna have to excuse me while I be black. These is, if you don't recognize this is a smartphone. I think everybody got one of these. And I was telling Pastor that my most favorite Bible verse is Hosea 4.6. And it says, and I quote, my people are destroyed, hear me, destroyed for lack of knowledge. So I'm gonna show you how this smartphone works. A 5-year-old showed me, one of my grandkids, so I'm gonna show you. I pulled up Google, and I'm hitting the microphone. How many juveniles were arrested by the Florida Department of Juvenile Justice last year?
45,423 juveniles. According to Florida Phoenix, According to data from the state's DJJ, a total of 45,423 juveniles were arrested in Florida in 2019-20. Data on the juvenile population show 1.9 million Florida residents between the ages of 10 and 17 in that same year.
I want you to hear it for yourself. 45,423 5 to 17-year-olds, because that's what a juvenile is. Remember that number, 45,473. Now, that's a juvenile arrest, which means no military. Now you got background. It also means no college funding. And if you're trying to get a job, most of the money we bring back is government money. And government money got government rules. And it requires the kid to have a clean background. An arrest record is not a clean background, last time I checked. So 45,500, I have to keep this out because I keep forgetting them. I have a senior moment. 45,423 young people, whole world just shrunk. And what we're talking about is state of Florida, 67 counties, 512 cities, 22 million people. This 45,423, 65% are black boys and girls. So you have to excuse me while I be black for a minute. Now, the way this works is, this is the bench team to keep our criminal justice system going. Because these are the babies. I just told you about 45,423, 5 to 17-year-olds. They spoke about 10, the stats are about 10 to 17. But Mr. Michelle Grimsley, which is my LA, I used to have it every year when I was over 70, get me the numbers for the district. I want to know how many youth were arrested in Hillsborough, Manatee, Sarasota, and Pinellas, District 70. And her mom has a memorial library at I think it's Manatee Elementary. I drove by that coming here. And Michelle didn't know at the time. She was engaged as a teacher assistant over at Manatee Elementary. But when she got the numbers back, she said, "Boss, I just sat there and cried." Because what happened was she didn't realize that it was arresting that many kids. And when I looked at it, they had the population of kids in Florida, according to DJJ, was like 1.3 million or something like that. But with the Department of Education, it was 2.3 million kids in the system, school system. So I called DJJ up. I said, "I ain't real smart, but the school system got 2 million, y'all got 1 million. I said, "Y'all about 1 million short. Could you help me out with that?" And this is a state agency now, and I'm a state representative. I'm one of 120 representatives, 40 senators, governor, CFO, Ag Commission, Attorney General. So I'm one of 164 in charge of 67 counties, 412 cities, 22 million people. This agency told me after blowing smoke up my cahoots for about 5 or 10 minutes, well, we don't list arrests of children under 10 years old on the website. Or they said the reason for that discrepancy, because that's 10th grade and up. So they say something stupid, I say something stupid. So we don't arrest kids under 10th grade? They said, "No, Representative, we'll get that information for you." I said, "Well, let me be clear, because you have to be clear with them." I say, "I need any and all. Whenever you ask for something, always preface it with any and all, because they can give you some of what you want, but you won't get it all. I need any and all juvenile arrests in District 70 last year. Please, any and all." So when they finally got the numbers back, that's when we discovered that they had over 25 8-year-olds in the district that got arrested. Now, I'm not trying to bash the police or law enforcement. I see an opportunity. If you got 25 8-year-olds, that's something they could probably go out to those homes and talk with the parents and see what's going on and see can they help them. This is low-hanging fruit. Hell, it's on the ground. It ain't low-hanging, because you know who they are. It's 25. It ain't 2,000, and it's in your area. So Michelle said just brought her to tears because she didn't realize that they had a policy of locking up babies, and they do. What you might know is, and I love that it's black men, because when I was on city council in St. Pete, my best council day was when about 50 black men showed up. They showed up at a council meeting. We were trying to get funding for after-school jobs, and we got that money. But you got to show up. I was hoping that Mr. Bellamy was still here, because the low-hanging fruit is that
You heard Keenan talk about the 75 million for the parenting initiative that the speaker approved. But the way you got to get that money, you got to show up. They got a meeting in Tallahassee, they're having committee meetings, and I'm trying to get 10 million of that, or 5 million to bring back in. If nobody don't show up, you ain't getting that. That's just the way it is. Also, you necessarily have to go to Tallahassee. You got what they call local delegations here too in the city. You can go to local delegation meetings at the Manatee, sometimes Manatee County Chambers. They have in different areas, but you can go there, get on the agenda as brothers of brothers, and speak for 3 minutes is what's important and what's apparent to you. 3 minutes don't sound like a lot, but if you got 10 brothers speaking, that's a half hour, last time I checked. And you ain't got to say the same thing. Each one of y'all say something different. Cut it off at about 2:50, that would drop the mic moment. That's how you work that. Yeah, it's easy if you know. Remember, Hosea 4.6, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Now, we get back to the 45,423 juveniles. That's babies. We incarcerate 99,000 adults in our correction system, or I won't say it's a correction. We warehouse 99,000 adults. Now, when one of those become terminally ill through COVID or whatever means, we got this thing called compassionate release, and I call it BS, because we don't want to pay the medical bills, and we dang sure don't want to bury him. So we send him home to you out of compassion, and you excited. Johnny's coming home, and it's going to be great. Throw a barbecue, have a good time, everybody come around, and 2 weeks later, Johnny dead. Once Johnny transpires, they can reach in this pool of 45,423 babies, pluck one out at 14, put him in that bed, and keep the party going. This is a criminal justice industry. And this is what you're up against. And it gets worse. It doesn't get better. You also have 45,423 individuals who already got their first strike. Now, if they get 2 more misdemeanor arrests, because kids like to say, just a misdemeanor. But if you can count, 3 misdemeanors equals a felony. The 13th Amendment allows them to turn man to slave, because you lose your civil rights and you become state property. So now you got 45,423 potential future voters, because I'm not going to live forever. I'm 58 years old. I have no illusion that I'm going to be here forever. But those are the ones that's going to replace us on the voter roll. Those are the ones that are going to replace us in brothers of brothers, and those are the ones that's going to be bringing up tomorrow. The Bible gives us a simple charge. It does. It says train up a child. It didn't say a black child. It didn't say a white child. It didn't say your child or my child. I look. And I often pondered the reason why he said a. Why he didn't say my child? You know what I'm saying? He said a child because it takes a village. And every parent that is fruitful and multiplies to have a fruit is not going to be a parent. That's why the A is there. And I looked at it. It didn't say nothing about adults. It didn't say nothing about locking them up. It said train them up. And the way they should go, when they're old, they won't falter from it. So we got things to do, and we got charges and resources that we can do it with. But if we don't get busy, we're going to lose. Because people, we dinosaurs. They're going after the babies, 45,423. Here's the worst part I was telling you about. That's down 17% for last year. Down 17% because of COVID. It's hard to arrest a kid on a Zoom. You got to get him in the classroom. And the way that works is this. Your babies come home the first day of school. They got a handful of papers. They're all excited. And they bring the papers in, and you got to sign them. If you don't sign these papers, they can't come back to school. Now, in those papers is something called a code of conduct. Now, the code of conduct is mandatory. There's that word, mandatory. Ain't nobody been picketing and holding sit-ins or none of that about this code of conduct. But you're talking about mandatory masks, they lose their mind. Mandatory vaccines, they lose their mind. Mandatory code of conduct. Now, the code of conduct is a discipline for the entire Manatee, Hillsborough, or Pinellas County school system. This is the discipline. This is the blueprint. This is policy written by elected officials called school board members. And it governs the discipline of the entire school system, be it whatever county you're in. Now, really be this. If a black kid gets in a fight in one of the high schools or middle school down in such an affluent area of the community, in the black side, and it's a black kid, he gets a ride to juvie jail, okay? Now, if a white kid at Lakewood Ranch gets in a fight, he gets a detention. A fight is a fight is a fight. We all did it. I fought, I got my butt whooped. Next week, we were thicker than thieves. It was like a rite of passage, some testosterone thing that we got to get off our chest. I look at him, I don't like him, so I'm gonna try him and see who's what. But because of the implicit bias of the enforcement of this code of conduct that you had to mandatorily sign, black people with this lethal black skin get treated differently. The reason little Johnny at Lakewood Ranch High School Elementary got a detention because little Johnny's going to Harvard. And you can't get into Harvard with a juvenile arrest record. You also can't get into college with a juvenile arrest record. You can't get a job, and you can't go to the military. That's what's happening. Pinellas County last year, you know, I'm a proponent of school choice. Some people are, some people aren't. I'm a proponent of anything, hear me, anything that do not put our black boys and girls in cages. I am. And what school choice does is no matter your zip code or your income, you can put your baby wherever you want for the best outcomes of that baby. What a noble concept. My mom had 8. We didn't attend private school because she couldn't afford it. With that day's pay she got from working that domestic job, she brought it home and put it with that government check and fed the masses, did the best she could. But now, if your kid having trouble, if he's struggling, if he's being bullied or somebody's messing with him, you can take him out of that situation and have better outcomes. Because if you don't, he's going to end up being one of these 45,423. I guarantee it. And then what happens is we end up having to subsidize housing. We end up having to put more money in the budget to try to get additional funds to help them because they get older. They're going to get older. All of us got older. You just heard the president go down the ages. When Omar went down the ages, all of us going to get older. So as some young people get older and they got no opportunities because the whole world shrunk, now they're going to resort to illicit activities and crime, which is going to keep that 99,000 occupied. We had another situation I want to share with you, and I hate to ruin your breakfast. Sorry, going last. But these are other numbers that will probably blow you away. This is this week. The Florida State reading results are troubling. About 25%, that's 1 out of 4, 25% of the third graders could read efficiently. That's Florida now. That's 67 counties, 412 cities, 22 million people. 25% of the third graders. 0 to 5 is the most critical stage of a young child's mind development. You can teach them after that, but it costs money and more resources. But this is 1st to 3rd grade. Also, from 1st to 3rd, kids learn to read. They learn to read. And from 3rd on, they're reading to learn. Now, if you can't read the test, how the hell are you going to pass the test? Last night I had a discussion with a gentleman. He was telling me that the reason these reading scores are the way they are is because the test is biased, the test is this and that. So I asked him, I said, how are they going to take the test if they can't read the test? And he didn't have a comeback. And I don't even have an answer. But I do know if a teacher a kid to read, you can teach them anything. I'm talking about anything. That young mind is a sponge. It wants to learn. I remember us hanging around our mama when I was little and they having an adult conversation. We looking in their mouth. We trying to learn. And she said, get away from here, grown folks talking. You know, I'm at my house one day and my sister brought her 2 little granddaughters over. My sister smokes, I don't. And she got mad because she couldn't smoke in my house. And she said, where can I smoke? I said, you can go out back to God's Cathedral. She said, what is that? I said, that's in my backyard. Smoke all you want. So she came back in and she put her cigarettes on the table. Cigarettes and the lighter. Her granddaughters were, one of them was 2, and I think the other one was 3. My sister went to the bathroom. One of the little girls grabbed the cigarette pack. The other one had the lighter trying to flick it. I'm talking 2 and 3 years old. They learning. You teaching them whether you want to or not. They watching everything you do. So back to this reading stats, and it gets worse. It says the new results from the Florida third grade reading exam statewide, this is statewide, aren't good, showing that only about a quarter of the kids tested in public schools. They got this thing against charter schools and private schools and where you putting your baby. And you're taking away from public schools. These are public schools. Could read proficiently, meaning that they scored a 4 or 5 on the critical exam or the crucial exam. It's an even more literal analysis for the Department of Education, the one that allows the kid to pass an exam with the traditional score of at least 3, okay? 25% score 3 or 4. They can pass it with 3. It says, it shows that a concerning picture, just 53%. These are half, or a little bit more than half of the kids in third grade. Just 53% of the third graders passed the 2022 reading exam, down from 54% last year. So we going backwards. It's not good, it's still bad, but you know, it's almost a little less than half of the kids can't read. People, if they can't read, they're gonna end up in them cages. Now, as a state representative, we get to tour any correctional facility at our leisure, which means I can show up 11 o'clock at night and they gotta let me in. And I get to go around to where I wanna go, not the wet paint tour where they want you to go around here and look at this mural, look at this guard. I wanna go check on the health, safety, and welfare of the people you got in here, including the guards. I wanna make sure that if you need anything, we can try to get that appropriated in the budget, we can get funds or whatever. So I'm here just to see what's going on. And when I attend those institutions and go visit, I see the babies in the cages, just turned 17 years old, their name on the front of the cages. And they're looking at 11 years. Now let me give you my disclaimer for the people in here think I'm against kids getting locked up. Hear me now, some of them need to be locked up. I'm gonna say it again, some of them need to be locked up. But it should be the exception, not the rule. That's the problem. And the rule is if you got a black kid getting in a fight, he gonna be in handcuffs. We're gonna take him down there and put a permanent record on him. It's permanent. They always say you got, and I love when they speak and they say, well, we have diversion services for first-time offenders. You have to listen to what they say. Diversion services for first-time offenders. Well, if you done took a ride for a fight you had last month, guess who ain't a first-time offender? That's your second time. So you need not apply. You have to listen to what they're saying. Again, Hosea 4.6, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. They're gonna tell you what they're doing. You have to listen. We have diversion programs. They're very successful. We divert a bunch of people. We do. Now, when your kid was bad cutting up, and he cut up 1 time or 2 times or 3 times, you didn't throw him out. You heard the gentleman just now said his daughter went off to college, came back with a baby. He said, we're gonna make this work. He didn't cast him out. But the law, if they do this once, then they cannot participate in a diversion program because it's not their first time. Once. And we're talking about the babies, 5 to 17. Seems like to me somebody got a plan, and it's locking up our future. So if we don't get busy looking out for these babies, doing what God told us to do, which was train up a child, then we're gonna look back as dinosaurs and we're gonna be gone, and they're gonna be gone. You know what I want to share with you, and I'll close with this because I know I get long, but as you can tell, these babies are my beam because I'm one of them. But for those food stamps, that after school job, that summer job, I'd be dead or in jail. I know this. Because the trade in the hood was selling dope or either running numbers. That was my options. And they were high, because the dope man don't look at your background. You get a package, you get a weapon, protect the profits, you get a cut, bring him back this and that. You get caught, they got Pookie and 15 more in line to replace you. That's how that works. That's what we're up against. The governor vetoed, I got the veto list here, and this will blow you away, but I'll show you what's really going on. Remember, I always tell people, show me your budget, I'll show you your values. I'll show you what's important to you. But in the budget, they had $10 million for design and engineering of new correctional facilities. He vetoed that. He also vetoed $645 million for a new prison facility. And he also vetoed $195 million for a new prison hospital. People, if you build these brand new multi-million-dollar prisons, you have got to put somebody in them. They're warehousing people. But unfortunately, the government had, in infinite wisdom, saw fit to cut that out of the budget, along with $3.1 billion in other, these are representative and senator projects that he cut out of the budget. It's important that we wake up. I love the Brother Lawrence. I love the accountability and responsibility, because it's easy. What we've done in the legislature is made it where if you look at your tax bill when you get home, you got 7 or 8 people that got their hand in your pocket, okay? And they also hold what they call public meetings. So after they approve their agenda and have their moment of silence or say prayer or whatever, you get 3 minutes to speak as to what you think about what's happening with the people that got their hand in your pocket. 3 minutes. And like I said, cut it off at 2:50. We did that because used to, they wouldn't let the public speak. And used to, they wait to the end. So you got to sit through a 4-hour meeting, miss work, miss dinner, and everything just to try to say something. But by the time you spoke, everything has been voted on. And in the fine print, it says, it becomes effective upon council's vote. Well, hell, they voted 3 hours ago. And you got a problem with it. So your 2 cents don't mean anything. So what we've done in the legislature is put it up front. They have required by law to let you speak. You can clap to that. Because people always ask, what could we do? I'm just telling you, the money's there. The money's there. The money's there, and the resources are there. I always say, I told my wife this the other day, with the student loan situation, which is one of my platforms, and people are being crippled with student loan debt. These kids are coming out with mortgages that are compounded daily. Not the one you got. They got one compounded daily. Because they ain't never getting out of it. $100,000, $200,000 in student loan debt. Coming out of school and can't get a job with the degree they got. Hear me now. Can't get a job with the degree they got. So Brother Omar was dead on about Technical Institute. You heard my degree, ITT Technical Institute. My mom didn't have college money. She got me an ITT. So with my colleagues who had money, or my friends and their parents sent them there, or they were good athletes and they got scholarships, nothing against them. They were getting their 4-year degree. I was 2 years into a career with Xerox and corporate America. Company car, credit card, you know what I'm saying? I was able to travel the world. I met my lovely wife. Stand up, baby. She put up with me. I got to shine for stand up, stand up, stand up. I met my lovely wife at Xerox. And for the pastors in the house, here's that but for again. But for that AA degree, or that AS degree from that Technical Institute, I would not have been at Xerox. So I would have never met this lady. See how God works? It's just that you gotta make sure you take those you pounce on those opportunities. But what I'm talking about, Tallahassee is good if you can get up there, but it's a long ways, and you have to have housing and meals and stay over. But there's always strength here in these local delegations. There's always strength here, like I told you, with the people that's on the back of your bill. If you look, they have to have the time they meetings and where they meeting at, because it's called this thing called sunshine. It can't be in the back room. It's got to be out publicly and sometimes televised. And you get to go speak. School board, transit authority, all those people got their hand in your pocket. You complain about the buses, you don't ride them, but they got your money, and that's how they're spending it. So if you got a problem with something going on, you can go speak. What happens is when you get that many individuals coming to speak for a certain issue, you usually get results. Power concedes to nothing but demand. Never have and never will. And when they're hoping that you, once they get in the office, that you'll be dumbed down and you won't care. You know, I asked Omar before I got up here, I got my palm cards, and my wife asked some of me, even my envelopes, because I need help, and I got to ask for help to get back to Tallahassee. But on there, you never see this. It's my phone number. Politicians don't put phone numbers on literature, because they don't want you calling them. They want your vote, they don't want to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? Because you might have a concern. You might want them to do something for that public funds that they receive as pay. And it says in oath of office, being a recipient of public funds, by virtue of that, they work for you. They work for you. Them public funds are your tax dollars. You ain't doing nothing you ain't already paid for. You know, you're right. But I always tell everybody, I say, Oz never really gave nothing to the Tin Man he didn't already have. That's your money. Because if you wasn't paying taxes, they wouldn't get paid. They all are recipients of public funds. So they should be, hold an audience. They should return your calls. I return all my calls, good, bad, and other. And I don't just call you back in the middle of the day when you're at work. I'll call you 8 o'clock at night. I said, Mr. Omar, I'm sorry for calling so late, but I wanted to make sure I talked to you because you left me a message and you had a concern. He's like, baby, it's the representative. They freaking out because normally, unless they want to vote or something, they ain't calling them back. You know, if they ain't election time, and he's right, they ain't calling them back. They freaking out. I said, no, I thought it was not robbery to call you. And I could have called back at 3 and left a message because you at work. But I want to talk to you, and hopefully if I'm not invading in your evening, just tell me what you got going on. And that's how you do it. But it's important that as men, we get involved. And I wish Mr. Bellamy was still here. He's on that commission, and if you look, last time you looked, he's the only one that looked like me on that commission. You know what I'm saying? So if he don't get the support, if he can't look out there and see 50 black brothers or 20 black brothers sitting out there, he up there by himself, stomping for these things, you know? It helps. I mean, even if you don't send them all, Mr. President, or Mr. Next year President, because the election's coming up, I'm speaking in the truth. Send 2 or 3 brothers with 2 or 3 issues they can speak on. You know what I'm saying? Become a bedrock. My wife and I watched this guy last night. He said, what I did, and I told you about this state of Black Tampa last night. They had what they call community equity. And he said, what I did, this is a black gentleman, and he's retired now. He said, what I did, he said, I got on every single board I can get on. Every single board I can get on. Most of those boards are volunteer. They want you on the board. Let's go on your resume, but also, he said, I saw on one of the boards I was on that board too was the president of University of Florida. His wife was on that board. And he said, in one of the functions that we have, I got introduced to the president, and he got me on to something else. And then he said I was selling cars, and I went one day to work, and he said Jeb Bush came in to buy a car. And he said his daddy had just lost the election, so I'm driving around in the car, test driving with Jeb Bush, and had the radio on. And when the radio was on, they were trashing his dad about losing. And he said, oh, Lord, I need to cut this radio off. But just then, Jeb Bush said, they talk about my dad like he died. He just lost the election. He said they became good friends. And after that, because of that community equity, later on, he got appointed to the trustee board of the University of Florida. Just by being on some of these different boards. The best thing I was telling my wife, I just shared what I heard last night, was collaboration. We as black people and black businesses, we have, in the black community, we have billions of money that we bring into our fold, all of us. But that money is spent predominantly with the white community, the Latino community, and very little with the blacks. Black money now. So how are we going to be a powerful economic bloc if we won't support each other? He gave me an example. He said, this lady talked to me. He said, she told me something I didn't want to hear, but I needed to hear. They were bidding for a contract to build a new center for them, a new state-of-the-art center. And they had 5 engineers bidding for that contract. Those 5 engineers got together and said, look, man, instead of one of us winning and 4 of us losing, why don't we all come together and bid on it? And I don't care who wants to be the lead. It's amazing. You can get a whole lot of stuff done if you don't care who get the credit. I emphasize the word done. The reason you're trying to get it done because there's a need to get it done. So they got together and they got the contract. And all of them got paid. They formed a company, now they're doing more stuff. You have got to do more collaboration. Your brother or the person that looked like he was not your enemy. They bidding, they hope both of y'all bid. When y'all bidding and fighting, it's gonna make the price dirt cheap, because all I can do is undercut Omar. Omar gonna do it for $1,000, I'll do it for $700. You know what I'm saying? Now Omar got to come in at $650. See what I'm saying? We both get together and charge them $2,000 and get $1,000 apiece. See what I'm saying? But we ain't talking because he's my enemy. He looked like me. You know what I'm saying? We going through the same thing. We struggling, but we gonna make sure that one of us got and one of us don't have. The problem we have, if I do support Omar, he might be able to go get a better car or a bigger house. And that's that crab in the bucket mentality that we are stuck with. But we do have a lot of money that come into the fold of black people. You gotta excuse me while I be black. And I wanna wrap with this. When I did my town halls, I always brought a sheet to show you black money. When I talk about black money, I'm talking about community development block grants, CRA funds, tax credits. That's black money. So you can't get this stuff but for, there's that word again, Pastor, but for having poor black people. Because what they do for those funds, they look at how many socially economic disadvantaged, challenged individuals you got living inside those boundaries. That's a political word for it, but it's poor black people living in there. And based on those numbers, you get funds. Now, I'm an old church boy. I believe that this offering that was raised should be used for the intended purposes raised. If you got the millions on the back of them poor black people, you should spend every dime of that money on them poor black people. Yesterday, I was driving around, I heard Hillsborough County got, I don't know, they got so many million from the federal government. Hillsborough County got a serious housing problem and a bunch of homeless people. They put a little bit of the money toward affordable housing and put $17 million for pickleball courses. People can play pickleball. Show me your budget, I show you your values. At that meeting, I don't think it was 5 black people that spoke. And probably no homeless people. See how that works? If you ain't in the room, we can do what we want to do. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Thank you.
On behalf of the Brother Alliance, just a small token of our appreciation.
Thank you
for coming to speak and share good news with us today.
I appreciate it.
Let's give them a round of applause. Sometimes you have to hear the news that we need to hear to get the work done that we need to get done. So on a brighter note, for those that stayed the cause, we have some tokens on behalf of the Family Heritage House. You have those little red tickets at your tables, and you have to be present to win. So you get a benefit for staying the course and hearing the whole message. And we're going to give away a lot of prizes. So those that trickled out, they missed out. So on behalf of the Family Heritage House, I'm going to ask Lynette Edwards if she'll come forward just for a brief moment to share with you who they are and what they do, because we all need to collaborate and work together. And then we'll do the drawing, and then we'll get you out of here with the closing ceremony.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, as a part of my continuing accountability and responsibility, I'm here today on behalf of the Family Heritage House Museum. I was very dismayed recently when I heard on the news and on Facebook that people didn't know about Family Heritage House Museum. It has been in our community for 32 years. It was started by 2 little old black people, Freddie and Ernest Brown were the co-founders. They started in their home, just collecting stuff. People gave them stuff. Then they moved to a trailer at the Head Start. And in his infinite wisdom, the president of then Manatee Community College just happened to visit them at this trailer and said, oh, I'd like to see that on the college campus. For 30 years, Family Heritage House has been housed at what we know now as State College of Florida. It is an African American museum. We have collections from all over the world. Some of your people in this community may be represented in Family Heritage House. I'm here not to just bring these little prizes to you that we're offering you today, but to encourage you to spread the word, because we need support at Family Heritage House. The college is very good to us. We have an employee that the college sponsors. They give us space. We have a new site. You know, originally the Browns raised the money to build Family Heritage House at the college. When they started their future planning for State College of Florida, they planned Family Heritage House into the new Library and Learning Center. So we are now located in a brand new facility on the 2nd floor of the Library and Learning Center. We're hoping to expand hours. Right now, we're open Tuesday through Thursday from 11 to 6, or by appointment. All you need to do is call the museum specialist there, who probably many of you know is Kathy Marsh. Just call, and we are willing to open it for you to see. You know, it was very disappointing to me recently. We became known. We received some information that Harriet Tubman had some relatives who lived in Florida. I don't know how many of you know, but they came to Family Heritage House for our 32nd anniversary 2 weeks ago. I think 20 people from this community came out. I encourage you to spread the word. Come and see it yourself if you haven't seen it. But my accountability and my responsibility is to keep the commitment that I made to the Browns over 20 years ago, that I would spread the word, that I would support it, I would be on the board, and I would do whatever it took to get the message about Family Heritage House out to this community, though I'm retired. Thank you.
Brother Haynes, the closing.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Just want to close up what we have for these last 3 days. It's just been super with Brothers to Brothers Alliance. And I just want to give a big round of applause for Brother Omar. Several times, Brother Omar spoke to me about coming part of his team here. He called it a team. So I finally got a chance to be part of this team. And it's definitely a pleasure. I have the opportunity to be able to go. And this Thursday, I was there with Bishop McDonald. Last night, I was there with the bishop over at his church, and it was just delighted. If anyone haven't heard Bishop Scruggs, is that right? Bishop Scruggs, I tell you, you miss a treat. Man, he's a teacher of the Bible. And that's what you should be wanting, a teacher who's going to teach you about the Bible. So I had a great time last night, and this morning, topped it off, made sure that I had breakfast. And I really enjoyed myself, and
I thank the cooks for preparing for us. And also, it's a time where to close. And always come a time to close. It's a time to begin. Now it's a time to close. Good morning to all again. On behalf of the Brother to Brother Alliance Incorporated, I would like to take the opportunity to thank everyone who made this 3-day weekend of accountability and responsibility conference a success. As you all can see, the sacrifices you all made were beneficial. I would like to thank all the speakers that spoke for the 3-day weekend conference. I would like to thank everyone that gave us some of their time to inspire our community. To our sponsors and benefactors, it is with a magnificent pleasure that I thank all of you by name for your huge help in this event. Your input was invaluable in making this event a reality. I will start by thanking MCR, Manatee County Rural Health, MCSO, Manatee County Sheriff Office, Beach House Realtor, United Community Center, and last but not least, Mr. and Mrs. Thomas Wilkerson. Today we have witnessed the 3-day weekend accountability and responsibility conference that has paid off. Again, I would like to thank everyone that played a part in making the weekend of accountability and responsibility a successful one. I encourage all participants to continue the excellence, cooperation with each other, as well as to take all necessary steps to put the word that was spoken for the conference be put into action. Also, between now and next year, this time, we would like to see you again. Now, the conference is adjourned. I'd like for everybody to stand, please. We look forward to seeing you again next year. May the blessings of heaven attend your. In the meantime, it is a humble and sincere prayer in the name of our Redeemer, the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. I wish you all a safe trip home. Amen. Have a blessed day.